All right, guys, I'm Allison Kent here with Live Sail Die. I'm here with Cam Farrah, who just got back from the 69F Youth Foiling Gold Cup in Italy and straight into a hurricane situation. How's that going? How's your travels back and where are you and how was the
Yeah.
hurricane and how was the regatta?
So I got off the plane from Italy. I landed in New Orleans, only to evacuate to Florida the next day because we were about to get hit by Hurricane Ida. So very thankful that I'm safe and not in New Orleans right now, but my heart really goes out to everyone there. It's such a bad situation. Um, but yeah, it's insane. Like I feel like I haven't stopped at all. I'm barely gotten over the jet lag, so it's just been such a whirlwind of the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, so when did you go to Italy?
I flew over there on I think August like 11th or 12th, and then came back on the 27th. So it was a nice long trip, which was perfect.
Yeah, so give us the rundown. The 69F is, you know, it's the up and coming like foiling monohull. So had you sailed them before? Who were you sailing with? Give us kind of a recap of your team.
Yeah, so I've never sailed the 69F at all. Abby Eller of the Magenta Project reached out to me and was like, hey, trying to put a team together, an all girls team for the Youth Foiling Gold Cup in Limone in Italy. And I'd like you to be on the team. And of course, I was like, oh my gosh, yes. Like, I would love to go to Italy for the summer and then race the coolest boats that are around right now. So, hopped on the team, got on the plane. And I was on a team with three other girls. One girl's from Poland, and two of them were from Italy. So we were an international team. None of us had met each other, totally new to the boat. So it was just like, all right, like, let's do this. Let's learn as much as we can. And got over there and just had the most amazing time sailing these amazing boats. Like, they are incredible. I highly, highly recommend getting out on one if you have the chance.
You have foiling experience, right? So you've been foiling on a couple of different boats, right?
Yeah, so I've been sailing foiling A-class catamarans for a couple years now, which are super cool. They're like single-handed foiling cats. And then I'm also launching a campaign for 2024, 2028 as a skipper on a foiling NACRA 17. So a good bit of foiling experience, never foiling monohulls. I did like one day on a WAF, so it was definitely different sailing this boat as it behaved pretty differently from a foiling cat, which I was pretty surprised about when I got there.
Yeah, and how many people are on the 69F?
So most people will sail the 69F with three people on board, and we decided to sail with four because it was really nice to have an extra set of hands on the boat. And since we were an all-girls team, we really weren't that heavy, so it worked out well to have extra help, and we were able to, like, I feel like, do the maneuvers pretty efficiently with four people on the boat.
It didn't get too crowded. Was there a lot of sitting on each other?
The first couple days there was a lot of sitting on each other. I almost flew out the back a couple times. Everyone was like falling on top of me, but by the end of it, by the last day, we were like, all right, we got this. We know where we should go, like whose feet goes where, and figuring out crossing the boat because it's a pretty wide boat. It's like got wings, so it's kind of like a 49er. So you're like running across, trying not to bump into people. So that was super fun learning experience.
Yeah, was it a bit, intimidating? I know there were a lot of new teams, but there were some teams that had done the event before. So coming in, how helpful is the vibe and I don't know, yeah, intimidating situation, or was everyone helpful?
It was weirdly welcoming. Like I don't think I met anyone who wasn't willing to like stop what they were doing and help us learn. And we also started off the regatta with Julia Conti teaching us, which was just like such a dream. She just got back from coaching the 49er FX girls at the Olympics. And so we spent, I think, the first 3 days with her, like right by our side, helping us learn the boat. So that was just pretty spectacular. And all the teams who've been sailing, like the Dutch team was great. Even their coach, like TJ, would come up and give us pointers, and everyone was so willing to share knowledge with us that it was like, okay, like, we got this. It felt like a big family there.
Awesome. Awesome. And because a lot of those guys, it's under 25, right? So how old are you?
I am 20. So I was
Okay.
on the young side there.
Yeah. So a lot of these guys are probably campaigning themselves or going around foiling, right? So that's a great opportunity for learning. And especially if you're getting Olympic coaches there, Amazing. Well done.
Yeah.
So what was your end result and what was the structure of the event?
Yeah, so the first few days of the event was just like a qualifying series. So we would race, but the racing didn't necessarily count for the final score. So it was more just to get everyone up to speed. And then after qualifications, we went into knockouts. And I think there were 3 knockout rounds. And we made it through the first one. The last place team got eliminated. And then the second knockout round, I think, was our best finish. I think we took 3rd or 4th overall in that one. So it was really good. And then 2 teams went home during the second knockout. And then during the 3rd knockout round, we missed qualifying for the finals by 1 point, which sucked. But it was like, okay, we learned a lot. And I was still super happy with how well we did, just being so new to the boat. So
yeah, I mean, not sailing the boat ever and not sailing with these girls ever is a huge accomplishment to get as far as you did. It's amazing. So what's next? What's next for your team? And what's next for you?
Yeah, so not totally sure on the 69F front how I'll continue to be involved with it. Supposedly the boats are coming to the US and to Miami in the winter time, so that might be a cool opportunity to try to jump on board. Not sure what Magenta Project's doing, but I mean, they're awesome. I'm sure they'll get involved somehow again with 69F. For me, it's back to college sailing. I'm at Tulane University in New Orleans, so sailing like 420s and racing around the US. And then I have ACAT North Americans in a couple weeks, so I'm going to go do that. And then Viper 640 Women's North Americans in like a week after that or something. So lots of regattas coming up. Yeah, very busy.
And do you slow down over winter? Do you just keep sailing through the cold in the States?
Yeah, winter gets even more busy because it's like the only time that I have to sail like NACR 17s and stuff with my partner, because we're on break from college. So it's like, oh my gosh, finally, like we can focus on fast boats. So it's like never stopping, never stopping.
And does your NACR 17 partner go to the same university as you do?
No, I'm sailing with Matthew King. He goes to Jacksonville, which is it's like 5 hours from where I live in Florida. So
okay.
We're out. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you do a lot of sailing with your dad, I see. What is that like? Did you grow up sailing with him?
Yeah, so I love my dad. He's the best. When I started sailing like super young, he was very adamant about like me learning how to skipper the boat, how to drive, which like I never wanted to do. I always wanted to crew, but I just remember always sailing like like big trimarans and like Corsairs and stuff with him when I was super little. So he's always been there to like push me and coach me. And then most recently we started sailing Viper 640s, which is like a sport keelboat in the US that's super popular on the Gulf Coast. And we've been sailing that for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years together with me driving and him crewing. So we sail all the time and travel. It's so much fun. I love it.
Yeah, having family support you through sailing is pretty essential, right? And
absolutely.
I feel like dads are pretty good at being your support system and pushing you sometimes when you don't want it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's good. He's great about like taking the rib out and like coaching me on like the ACAT and NACR and stuff, which is just so nice to have someone to like talk stuff through with and be able to debrief at the end of the day. It's great to have that support for sure.
So you're a big multi-hull sailor. How did you get into that and over monohulls?
Yeah, so I feel like I'm kind of weird in that like I've never sailed an opti, I've never touched an opti. I always did like fast boats, cats and multis with my dad because he's a really good multi-hull sailor before I got into college sailing. So I feel like everything has been flip-flopped, but it's been good because I knew apparent wind sailing before I ever learned about sailing by the lee downwind. Like when I got on the laser, I was like, what am I doing here? So it's been good. I've grown up always sailing fast boats and knowing what speed is on a boat, which is super fun.
That's a good way to keep you entertained as a kid. I know a lot of kids that think optis are going too slow.
Yeah. Hang in there. There's fast boats. Get through the optis. There's fast boats.
Yeah, there's a lot there. And now that foiling is a thing, there's foiling fast boats. Yes. And the Wasp just came out with a junior version.
super cool. That's going to be a game changer for a lot of kids. That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I don't know, maybe Opti should watch out.
Yeah.
Um, so what else have you done in your build up to deciding you wanted to campaign for the 17? Is there any
Yeah.
training programs like you went to Oak Cliff, is that right?
Yes, I did. I spent a summer up at Oak Cliff, sailing up there with like Don Riley and them. And I got to say, that was such a good experience to be introduced to the foiling NACRA 17, because I sailed the sea foil boat for like a little bit with my dad, actually. But going up to Oak Cliff, it was such a good controlled environment with really great coaches to learn how to sail this like new fast foiling boat. And it was a big group of like high performance, like ODP sailors, and we all like learned the boats together, and it was just a really awesome experience for sure.
So you were out there for the summer.
I was there, I think like 2 or 3 weeks, not totally sure, a few years ago.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
And what kind of boats did you sail there? I know they have a pretty big inventory.
Yeah, they have a ton. I just really focused on the NACRA. I knew that's what I wanted to do. But a lot of kids there did like 49ers and FX, and they even have WASPs and stuff. It's such a great program up there. It really is.
Awesome. Awesome. And when was it that you decided you wanted to go for campaigning the NACRA?
You know, I've wanted to do Olympic campaign since I was like 16 years old. I've grown up with Randy Smythe has been like my coach for life, and he was like went to the Olympics back in the tornado days, and I always saw him and I was like, you know what, that's what I want to do. I want to sail multi-hull in the Olympics. Like, I don't care what boat it is, but I want to sail it. And when they came out with the Seaboard NACRA, the co-ed aspect made me instantly be like, that's what I want to do. I love the co-ed, love the multi-hull, and then now that it's foiling, I like it even more. So
perfect.
very exciting.
Great opportunity. You're in the right time.
Yeah, for sure.
And what events have you done in the like over the summer in the NACRA 17 to, you know, nail down your love for it?
So this summer we did some training, went out to Long Beach, California, and we did OCRs out there, which was super nice to have kind of a domestic racing circuit start for the NACRA 17. Sorry, lots of text messages. But yeah, mostly we've stayed domestic. Plan is to head out to Italy for Youth Worlds next July. And then another Worlds is in, I think, Nova Scotia in September. So that will be our next kind of peak events. But until then, a lot of domestic training, just trying to make it work with school schedules. And
that was my next question. How do you make it work? You know, you guys don't even go to the same university.
Yeah. It's definitely not easy to make it work, and it's a learning process. And especially like in college sailing, you kind of don't find out until like the Wednesday before the weekend if you're racing or not that weekend. So there's a lot of like last minute communication, but mostly we rely on like winter break, fall break, that kind of stuff to meet up and train. And then once we graduate, it'll be a lot easier.
Yeah. And when do you graduate?
Another year, and then I'm out.
Okay. What are you studying?
I am in environmental studies with a minor in business. So.
Oh, okay. Nice. And do you hope to incorporate that into your sailing, or do you think you're just going to focus on sailing first?
I'm not sure. I definitely want to focus on sailing as long as my body will hold out, you know, so like kind of focus on it while I'm young, and then maybe law school or business school once I'm older.
Nice. Nice. And have you, you know, other sides of the sport, so you're in the foiling dinghy side, are you interested in offshore sailing, or do you do any keelboat sailing?
Yeah, so I haven't done a ton of like offshore racing. We have like a 45-foot catamaran that my dad and I will like kind of cruise around, and we've done a couple deliveries on that, and I've really enjoyed it, but have not spent much time doing offshore sailing yet. But I'm sure at some point I'll try to get into it.
Well, there's always different sides of the sport. There's so many. There are so many.
There really, and I tried match racing my freshman year of college, went to match race nationals, and that was super cool. Like the first time I'd ever tried it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So very excited to kind of keep doing that.
Yeah, I mean, and so you're obviously a skipper in your college sailing. right? So,
Yes.
and you guys have, you have a women's team and a co-ed team?
Yes, it's women's and co-ed, which is super good because it like gives women even more chance to sail because we can do, of course, women's or co-ed. So it's really nice for us.
Yeah, amazing. Awesome. And so when I was doing a little bit of research, I stumbled upon a photo of you on your A class in a dress. Do you want to
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about that?
Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. So my mom came up with this idea for my senior pictures. She's like, you need to take a picture in a dress on the boat. And I was like, you're crazy. I'm like, that's not going to work. Like, no, I need a helmet. I need a life jacket. Like, this is an awful idea. And she's like, no, like, let's do it. So go to the store, buy a dress. And I'm like, wait, how am I going to like clip it on the wire? I'm going to have to put my harness on over it. So I called one of my best friends and I was like, dude, can I borrow your windsurfing harness? So we like put it on under the dress and like cut a hole in the dress and went out there, started sailing. There ended up being like a massive rain and thunderstorm that started while we were out there. So I'm like literally sailing in the rain while they're taking pictures and you just see the lightning. I'm like, oh my God, we gotta like go in. This is so bad, but such a fun experience. Probably never going to do it again. I'm going to stick to wetsuits from now on, but it was super funny.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure how practical dresses are.
No, not at all. I haven't been to an ACAT regatta since then where people haven't like been like, did you bring your dress? Are you going to sail in your dress? Like, no, I'm not going to sail in my dress.
You know, it's pretty unique though. There can't be that many people that have a photo like that.
Yeah, for good reason.
Yeah. Amazing. I love it. When I saw it, I just thought, you know, this is such a classic. You know, you're combining the two things of your life. I mean, I remember my senior pictures when I was graduating. I put a laser sail, like I draped it in the background, and I'm wearing this dress and I'm wearing heels, and I was like, you know, my hair was probably curled. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And it's just awesome. I saw that. I was like, well, at least I wasn't the only one. I mean, yours was a bit more crazy than mine. Mine was just in a studio. But, you know, I love it.
It's awesome.
It's so good. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, let's talk about you know your next steps, and you obviously have a huge support system. You know, you were saying, I mean, even with this opportunity over in Italy, you've had Olympic coaches, you're getting your name out there, and you have support along the way, especially in Florida. So, you know, do you see this as something that can really happen? You know, who's your competition? Who do you see would be a problem, you know, for you actually getting to the games?
Yeah, so I definitely think I'm putting my mind to it. Like it's going to happen. We're going to make it work. And luckily I'm so young. I mean, I have a lot of years left in a class to continue sailing. So I think it's just going to be a multi-quad kind of thing, you know, just getting the experience is going to be key, and just staying dedicated to it, and pretty confident that we're going to make it work for sure.
Amazing. That's such a great attitude. And you do have time on your side. You know, there's a lot of people that don't figure out what they want to do until a lot later in life. You're very lucky. Is there anything else in your story that you want to tell us about?
No, you know, I think just a huge thank you to the Magenta Project for this amazing experience. I was a part of their mentoring program with Katie Pettibone as my mentor, and the program has really been life-changing for me. Just having someone to talk through the experiences just as a sailor and like as an Olympic campaigning athlete, like it's been really nice to meet someone who can guide me along that path. And this experience to go race 69F in Italy has just been, I'm just so thankful. I've learned so much sailing with an international team for the first time, you know, and an all girls team for the first time as well. So I really don't have enough good things to say about just the program. It's just awesome. Such a great experience.
Amazing. So you're a mentee at the moment?
Yeah, so I was for the last go around, and they actually, I think, just opened applications today for the next round of mentees. So I highly recommend applying to it. You know, take that step, be brave and apply, because it's life-changing for sure.
And did you know your mentor before the Magenta Project?
I did not know. And so Katie Pettibone was my mentor, and I had heard of her like so much before. And when I got the email, like, this is your mentor, I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is the coolest thing ever. She's so cool, like done America's Cup and stuff. So I was really excited to meet her.
And how did you communicate? How did you, did you talk on the phone?
So yeah, it was during COVID. So we did a lot of phone calls, which was awesome. But yeah, it just helped guide me so much through all the craziness with COVID combined with like trying to make the most of this opportunity where I'm at home, like I'm sailing ACATs, it's got to be domestic training. So it was really good to have someone to talk through with.
And the good thing about that, is you'll have that contact forever.
Absolutely.
So it's not just during that mentorship program that you'll have her to lean on. Whenever I was a mentee in 2018, 2019, I can't remember. And I had Sharon Ferris, who's local to New Zealand, and it was the same. I mean, it was amazing. She sometimes it's just good to talk about, about your plans or your reservations, I think is the biggest thing for me. Sometimes you don't think that you've got it in you. And it's, there are women like that are ready to help you out. So it is amazing. I love it. I'm glad you got something good out of the program, and you got this amazing regatta opportunity as well.
Oh, so I'm still in shock that it happened. It's just been amazing.
Yeah, it's a good program. Nice. And let's see, I had another question and it's just gone.
You're good.
Gone from my mind. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. It's been good to get to know you.
Nice to meet you.
When are you back to school?
I technically missed the first week of school to go race Italy, and right now I don't know when school is happening. Whenever New Orleans gets power again, so we will see.
Are you doing any work from home or anything, or are you just standing by?
Right now, I think all the servers are down at Tulane, so I can't even like log in to do homework if I wanted to. So I've spent the last day doing boat work on my NACRA and my ACAT. So I'm like, okay, like not sure what's happening, but it's time to do some splicing. So
at least you get time at home and you can go sailing.
Exactly. Tomorrow I'm going to rig up the ACAT once the hurricane remnants go away and go out for a nice foil.
Amazing. Okay, well, I will just end this recording. And again, thank you so much for your time. We're so excited to watch where you're going with your campaign. We can't wait to follow you.
Thank you so much. Awesome talking to you.
Pause, stop.